So in the past, like, I would say week or so, 10 days, I think I started at the beginning of last week, I've been playing a lot more Metaknight. I'm aware that, like, he has some benefits of being a counterpick character. I've always said that he had the benefits of being a counterpick character, and he has, like, very niche good matchups. Not to say that the characters themselves aren't common, but just, like, it's kind of random how good he has some matchups. I should have done one more up there, actually. But I've always been a Metaknight hater, right? I'm like, Metaknight's not that good. Like, yeah, he has his niche matchups, but, like, he's not good. And, like, I've known he was always technically, he would be good for me to play as, you know, a Pikachu player. And just personally, I have a hard time playing characters that have bad recoveries, because just the way I think about, like, risk reward and stuff off stage, just it would totally be messed up, or it is messed up by characters that don't have good recoveries. Like, I've tried playing multiple characters as secondaries, and the characters that have the worst recoveries are the ones that I do worse with, because I just get hit and I die because I play the game like it doesn't matter if I have a double jump or not. And with most characters, it does, right? But Metaknight is not a character that needs his double jump all the time. He can kind of play a little silly, a little goofy. But Metaknight, just like in general, has been honestly really fun to play. I feel like I underrated a couple of things about him when I would be thinking about him for like a tier list or something like that, or just in general. His edge guarding is actually ridiculous. It is probably top 3-ish edge guarding. Between, like, Pika, in my opinion, is number 1 still. Probably, I think Sonic is up there. I know a lot of people say that. And Meta Knight's probably in that, like, upper echelon of edge guarders in this game. Because his multiple jumps, and his stuff is just strong, right? Like, his back air is really strong. Of course, he can get you in really good positions for offstage, like in his combos, kind of like what Pikachu does, right? And also Sonic. Because they both get you off stage like pretty easily with just their tools, because Sonic spins you off stage in forward airs, Meta Knight combos you, and Pikachu combos you with like different moves, right? Maybe like Pit is also up there in the edge guarders. Like generally floaty characters with multiple jumps or like a really good set of aerials. And Meta Knight, well, he doesn't have the highest airspeed, so I can't say that he, you know, and he doesn't have a projectile to like force people into specific situations other than just like his combos. But he's good at edge guarding. Yeah, I got the kill. Let's go. It was kind of surprising how consistently I was able to edge guard. Like, I mean, I know I'm a good edge guarder in general, so I was able to use the tools, and there's still tools I'm not particularly good at using, like Drill and Tornado, right? Like, I'm not particularly good at using those because they're a little, you know, I see myself putting my body out there because I'm a Pikachu player, right? But one of the things I feel like that I didn't expect about Meta Knight was, if you don't get those edgeguard kills, I feel like it's really actually hard to get a kill. I didn't realize just how difficult it was to get kills on most characters. Like, obviously some characters, like you know, when I think of the Pika matchup, it's like, yeah, I can be annoying and small and hard to hit, so therefore I don't die. And I don't really get edgeguarded and I don't really get comboed. But like, there was a lot of characters that I was having a surprisingly difficult time getting a kill if I couldn't edgeguard them. And of course he does have like kill moves like forward smash and has like some decent kill moves, but like they were not easy to land. Like, things didn't really flow unless you were getting some type of hit at like an early percent, like, and you were able to like string stuff off stage, or again, it would be like mostly off stage kills. So in terms of like my judgment of Meta Knight, right, I definitely think I was harsh. Again, I normally think about tier lists when it comes to like solo main ability, right? So not like, oh, this character's a good secondary, therefore they're like higher on a tier list, right? Otherwise, like Min Min would be higher, Meta Knight would be higher. Because like even when I was like, Meta Knight's, you know, whatever my old opinion of him was, I always thought that he was still a good counterpick character. I was like, yeah, he's the second best counterpick character in the game behind Min Min. Maybe now, like, I would say third to Game & Watch, just because Game & Watch is silly. Oh, it went that way? That's hilarious. But I don't know, my opinion of Meta Knight has definitely got a lot higher. Again, I do think he would theoretically be a good secondary for me, even though I don't think I'm going to pursue him in a serious manner. I mean, like, maybe realistically, but probably not. There's almost like a 0% chance I'm actually going to play him, because for Realistically, I should just be playing fucking Pika. I should just be playing Pika. And, like, I don't need a secondary, and I can just be better than everyone. It's fine. But, like, you know, I'm already, like, good enough with me Brawler. And I don't think adding another character to the secondary realm is necessarily helpful. But I guess we talked about the good things. Let's talk about the flaws, right? So I mentioned the killing, and I find it surprisingly hard to get at a disadvantage as Meta Knight. And again, maybe that's just me not playing him a ton. Because, like, obviously he has Dimensional Cape, which, like, is one of the best moves in the game, and he has, of course, a bunch of double jumps, but I feel like I just waste a lot of resources when I play Meta Knight, and then eventually have to, like, do a normal landing mix-up anyway, which, like, I don't know. It feels, and again, I expected it to be a lot easier than it was, and because of his round nature, I feel like he just would randomly get hit by stuff that I was never expecting. And like Pikachu doesn't have, like, at least especially in the air, a necessarily good hurt box. Unfortunate. But like I still found myself being surprised that I would get hit by things, and his bad air mobility, even with his multiple jumps, I would still get hit in a lot of situations that people were like trying to, you know, hit me aggressively, and I would like jump and still get hit, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a good jump. Or sorry, multiple jumps, in my opinion, at least. I feel like the characters that had really high air mobility felt really hard, unless they were the characters that happened to like just get comboed super hard. Like, it didn't matter about Puff, right? Because you hit him and kill him. But like characters with high air mobility, I feel like it was really difficult for me to hit them properly. And again, maybe that's just my viewing of it, but I expected to be able to just like get in there with dash attack, but because dash attack is not actually that good in a lot of situations, it felt very interesting to play him. I do think, again, he's probably 10 or so characters higher on the tier list than I thought, and that's my current opinion. Of course, I could still be wrong, like absolutely, right? But I don't know, I find him to be an interesting character. He's one of those characters that, like, in Ultimate, where, like, oh, he's, like, theoretically pretty good, but there's either other characters better than him, or, like, oh, these other characters should be beating him. And then he just hits you once and edgeguards you, or does, like, weird, like, he's just, his advantage is really good type stuff. Like, it's one of those, like, in a vacuum, he's a very good character. Not in a vacuum, he's still a good character, but, like, everyone else is still good. Or like the reason I think he's like worse than a lot of people in the cast isn't because he's bad. It's not because he has a bunch of bad things about him. It's just like so many characters in this game are like amazing that like compared to them, he's worse, if that makes sense. I still stand by what I said, that he's a good secondary, right? Even if he's a little complex for a lot of people's, you know, secondary takes, but also like I feel like every character's complicated, at least at like top level. Would I say he's a better counterpick character than Brawler? In general, yes. I mean, Brawler's a better character, but Brawler's like a better solo main character. And also, like, when I say like good secondary, I mean just like they have really polarizing matchups, right? Like Meta Knight's matchups are very polarizing. Like, look at that, that's crazy. Like he has a good amount of stuff and has some really strong matchups at top tier, right? He does well versus Rob. He does well versus Min Min, even though I don't think Min Min's top tier. He does well versus Lucina. He does well versus... There's another, like, very relevant character that I'm forgetting that he's good against. He's good against Peach. Oh, he's good against Game & Watch. Against Peach, I mean, probably even, but, like, you know, at least does, like, plays the game, right? When a lot of characters, even good characters, lose to Peach. I mean, again, Meta Knight has the tools, right? I feel like he has a lot of tools in a lot of matchups in terms of he has the ability to edgeguard people, he has the comeback factor, and he can disengage versus Sonic, but I don't think that, like, Meta Knight beats Sonic. He probably slightly loses to Sonic, but that's better than Leo's other characters, considering Leo doesn't want to play this character anymore, I don't think. Oh, Samus is the other character I'm thinking of. Does really well versus Samus, right? But yeah, in my opinion, I mean, Meta Knight is a solid character. I definitely think, as I said, I think before I put him in, like, bottom 10 or 15, and I remember when I went on the couple of, like, Japanese podcasts, they were like, what the fuck, you're insane. Like, I definitely put him in, like, bottom 25? Bottom 30, which is, like, around halfway point, because I definitely think half of the cast is still better than him, but he has a surprisingly high number of good tools. He just sometimes can't kill you, which is big in this game, right? But also he can sometimes just kill you with 0, which, so, you know, it balances out, depending on the matchups, obviously. But he just does well overall, but not well enough to be like considered a super good character in my opinion. And he doesn't quite have the, if he had a better aim ability, he would be like super broken, right? But yeah, I definitely think to be playing, honestly, that's both ways, right? It's rough to be playing Meta Knight because when you drop your combos, it feels so bad. It feels so bad to drop his combos. And like he doesn't have strong enough neutral in my opinion, to kind of be like, oh, it doesn't matter that I drop my combo, I'll just win neutral again, right? Like, Pikachu in theory shouldn't be dropping combos, but then like he has T-Jolt and like a bunch of other like amazing things, right? Whereas like Meta Knight is kind of just like, well, I hope I get a hit again. And if you kind of play passive against Meta Knight, it becomes really, really difficult to get anything of substance. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that Meta Knight has absolutely his place. I think it makes sense if you play him. Granted, like every character makes sense if you play them other than like the bottom two. You can basically go with everyone else. Because like every other character is good. Even Little Mac's like fine. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little last batch of Meta Knight type content. It was fun. I mean, again, I will probably continue to play Meta Knight just for fun, but probably less percentage of him compared to the last couple of streams. But yeah, let me know who you want me to do this with, and I'll be reading comments, and also I'm going to be looking at Twitch.